listen up. I've rode through howling hell and wind and snow and rain. I am oblivious to misery and pain. And that iron in your gizzard, it will never go away. So long as you got work to do today. And there's a monster on your back, son, get your guts up off the trail. We got a job to do, and I promise we won't fail. One day you'll learn your scars and all the fearlessness you lack. Don't worry about that ornery Charlie bull. The monster's on your back. There's a monster on your back.
I was really blessed last year with an amazing hunt with Adam and Trevin, and I was really looking forward to this year in 2012 with Jim and Grady. My dad, my brother, and I drove up Friday from Denver, and we drove into camp, and we had seen that there'd be some bad weather on Saturday. Saturday morning, we woke up to a bunch of snow, and it was still snowing, and there was a ton of fog and really cold. So we hiked to a point where we could see all the land, and there were some elk in different directions, but we decided to walk to a place where we had set up a blind the previous summer, and Grady, Jim, and I sat there for about an hour just scouting, and all we could hear were elk, but we couldn't see any. So we headed back to camp and regrouped, and we're gonna head back out that night.
Well, it's midday on opening day of Colorado Rifle, and as you can see, we're done with the snow and rain, but now we got this fog to deal with. The elk are on their feet. We heard a few bugles, so we're gonna go after it this afternoon because we can't kill them sitting in the cabin. So we're gonna go up the little flat here that we usually see the elk on and see what we can run into. We got a few hours left of daylight. So we gotta try, but this fog, once this lifts, it should be good. We might have to drop down and get below and walk this bottom and then pop back up. That's probably what we're gonna do. Why do we just walk the road? Because that's easy. Elk hunting's not supposed to be easy. You're not sweating, you're not elk hunting. That's an estrus whine right there. That buzzing sound with that cow. You don't hear that very often. That means she's ready right now. I don't want to jump in there when we can't see, because then they're going to smell us for sure. This fog is not our friend. It's hard to make a move on them when you can't see them. But we're going to call it a night. This fog is just too thick, and there's no sense just walking around aimlessly bumping elk. So we can hear them in the timber, but we're just gonna leave them for right now and drive back around up on top and just wait for the rest of the evening. Just try to locate them for the morning, but as the temperature drops, the fog's getting worse, so today's not the day. Tomorrow maybe. Morning 2 of our Colorado elk hunt. The sky's cleared at least, and we got a couple groups of elk spotted already. So we're just waiting to get enough light to see which way they're headed and if there's a bull big enough for Graylen to shoot. Should be a good morning.
Sunday morning, went to one of my favorite spots, this big open meadow we had gone to the night before. We had Jim, our guide, calling behind us, trying to get these bulls that were bugling in the aspens below us to come over the rise, but they never showed themselves.
So we're on these bulls right now, and they're bugling a couple hundred yards in front of us, so now we're just gonna wait and see what they do, if we can get on them again.
It sounded like they were coming closer, but they never did. And the only thing that we saw was a coyote that came about 20 yards from us.
Some movement.
I see a coyote.
it's mid-morning now. We tried working that bull for the last half hour. He just won't come, so we're just gonna let him be. There's 3 or 4 of them in there with a bunch of cows, so the wind started changing, so we just backed out. We'll head back and come up with a plan for this afternoon. The sun's out, so they should be feeding early tonight, so we'll give it a shot.
One of the best things I love about coming to Big Mountain Ranch, despite the beautiful locale, the awesome facilities, the great animals, the fact that the elk are rutting is the camaraderie. You know, for a lot of hunters, me included especially, hunting's more than just killing an animal. It's about spending time with friends, with family, and creating memories. And at Big Mountain Ranch, every year it seems like we just, we create some good ones.
We got some elk working out already this afternoon. He's right around the bend, so we're gonna try to get down on the bottom here by the creek. And the wind's in our face for once, so they're moving early because of the sun, so we're gonna try to get set up.
That evening, we went down to a pond where the elk always came to water, and we set up on a hillside, expecting the bulls to come to water.
Right over the dead tree. Yep. We just got busted by elk above us. Well, we were that close, and we had elk come in above us, and the wind was perfect for these elk, but not this group. They just busted, and now they took these elk with them. There they go. We're gonna regroup and go up a little bit higher and keep the wind better.
After we were busted, we went on the ridge above us, and we sat down in the oak brush and glass below us, so it seemed to be about 100 elk. We saw about 3 or 4 good bulls, but they were just too far away to get a shot. After holding up in the elk brush for about an hour and glassing, we decided to make a move on the elk that were to the south of us. We came to the ridge and we saw a couple cows below us at about 100 yards.
We're right on top of these bulls. There's a good 6-point, but he's right underneath us and we can't see him through the brush. But he's a nice bull.
Jim spotted a bull below us, so I got set up on the sticks and Grady got set up on the camera, and we just waited for the bull to come up the draw. After 10 minutes, the great 6x6 walked into the draw. And Jim stopped him with a cow call. He turned quartering away, and I held 6 inches behind the shoulder and squeezed the trigger.
Good job. Good shooting off the sticks.
Way to be Gray.
Thanks.
That's a nice heavy bull.
That's a dandy.
After the shot, the rest of the cows ran up the draw, and my new trophy was now on the ground. After 5 minutes of congratulations, I was so excited, we walked down to find my new prize.
What do you think?
It's pretty awesome.
That is a very, very nice bull. He's super heavy. He's the one we sat on the last 3 hours, bugling at us. And then he pushed his cows this way, and we changed tactics and came up here on him. He made a perfect shot quartering away, 250 yards. Stopped him with the cow call, perfect. Off that ridge back there, they never knew we were here. What mass on him. That's a pretty bull.
I want to give thanks to God for giving me such an amazing hunt, and everything worked out perfectly, and I couldn't have asked for a better bull or to spend it with better people. I want to say thank you to Jim and Grady for being an awesome guide and cameraman, my family for letting me come up here and be blessed to hunt this land, and for Tom and Andrea for being such good family friends. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Outback Outdoors.